Sorry about that. This is your boy Main Event Primetime TV here, back at it with another video. Let's talk about the NFC South. So the NFC South, this team, these are um. Sorry about that, which again, the NFC South, the last championship they won was in 2020 in the pandemic season with the Bucks. Tom Brady led the helm, and then before that, Cam Newton and the dabbing in 2015, 2010 with the Saints, and then around that time, the Falcons in 2016, or the Falcons 2016 were choking, or they choke, and like I said, the NFC South really has a lot of success, especially in the recent years, with them teams making it to the Super Bowl and winning it. Saints and Bucks, and like it's been a pretty competitive division. I do think more recently the Bucks has won it a lot of times, and I think then till I mean now till then it's going to be the Panthers division, and then eventually it's going to be either Falcons and Saints. Now, with the Saints, they had been struggling post Drew Brees. Panthers has been on a rebuild, and now they're competitive again. Falcons, they have been in a rebuild, especially post Matt Ryan. Um, who else? You got the Bucks. They has trying to find their footing post Tom Brady with Baker Mayfield. Like it's been, and I do think that NFC South will be a competitive division, especially with the three teams, the Colt. I mean, that's the Colts. The Panthers, Saints, and Falcons will be competing for the division, and will like I said, these three teams will make it be entertaining for the NFC South. And yeah, like let's talk about the NFC South.
Welcome back to the show. Let's talk NFL, folks. Off-season grades for the NFC South. It feels like every year, three of these teams are bunched up in the odds boards in terms of who can win. Last year was Carolina with the losing record. They're 3-1 to repeat at FanDuel. Betting favorite the Bucks at plus 190. Again, look at these odds. They're relatively short. Falcons are right there. It's 20 cents worse than the division champs at plus 320. All right. Let's bring in the
Wait, the Saints got the second best odds in the division. Whatever.
crew to hand out NFC South off-season grades. We've got Mike Renner, JP Constantinians here. Let's go with betting favorite Tampa Bay Bucks. Mike, you get to go first because you both give out B's, but Mike Renner gives out a B plus.
Yeah, I would B plus because I.
Now, for me with the Bucks, I do think the Bucks. Now they got rid of Mike Evans, but they do got that guy. I forgot his name. I'm about to call him Jackson Smith and Jigba. No, not him, but this guy's name, the receiver, and he had a good year. And like I said, they got Cade Otton as tight end, and he's pretty good. Like I said, the Bucks with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, no one expected Baker Mayfield to make this major leap at him, like not winning games, but being a major factor for the Bucks, and him having a career renaissance after being in Cleveland, and after he left Cleveland, he was in Carolina and the Rams, and he had that one game with the Rams that was really good, and he really, really rewrote his career. And like I said, you got people like Shannon Sharp that was very critical of him, and now he's in a position where he was a couple years ago. He was in MVP talks, and like I said, I'm proud for Baker Mayfield. Like Baker Mayfield, man, especially him being a former Cleveland Browns quarterback, and he should be doing this in Cleveland, and he's doing it in Tampa Bay. Like them, that Cleveland doing him dirty like that was just for a quarterback that barely got on the field, or barely was in the field for them, is just baffling. But yeah, I do like seeing this career renaissance that Baker Mayfield is having.
I really love their draft. I thought getting Ruben Bain Jr. in the middle of the first round was the steal of the first round, and then even past that, getting Josiah Trotter, Keontae Scott. I think both those guys will make this front seven just a more physical unit going forward. And yeah, the offseason, losing Mike Evans, he is a big piece of that offense. They obviously lost him for long stretches last year, and the offense suffered because of it. Losing Jamel Dean.
Yeah, that was like, especially last year, that was the first season for a while. I think even since Mike Evans came in the league that he hadn't had a 1K season.
Big pieces that they lost, but they decided, with their draft strategy a year ago, that this was always probably going to be the case when they drafted a wide receiver and then corners in rounds 2 and 3. So they're well set up to replace those losses. And I think, getting Zach Robinson as your offensive coordinator was about as good as you could do with the seat that Todd Bowles is on here.
They got Alex Azamoni and Kenneth Gainwell. Dang. They can be good role players for his team.
About as good as you could do with the seat that Todd Bowles is on here. And then I really like the output even Muhammad side. It was one of my favorite value signings of the offseason. So for all those reasons, a solid offseason in my eyes.
I'm going to give him a B minus, largely just because, like Mike said, I really love their draft class, especially grabbing Zach Trotter, who's one of my favorite players in this class. I think they got younger, they got faster on the defensive side of the ball. I guess I'm just a little hesitant about the offense, and I'm a little hesitant about Zach Robinson's fit with this offense. If you remember what he did in Atlanta with that offense, a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 13 personnel, I just don't know if they have the bodies to do that. And I'm also a little bit worried about Bucky Irving's health and consistency from that receiving core that without Mike Evans sort of suffered last season. So I'm curious to see if they can grow and that young receiver core can grow to sort of replace Mike Evans in the aggregate. But I do think this offseason was really good for them in terms of getting their defense retooled. Let's get to the New Orleans Saints. You guys both have B grades, but JP, you got a solid B. Yeah, I'm giving it a solid B, largely just because I like what they did to help surround Tyler Shuck with offensive weapons. First off, grabbing Jordan Tyson when they did, I think he's a nice complement to what Chris Olave already does in terms of creating separation in the intermediate areas of the field. I love Oscar Bell, the tight end out of Georgia. I thought that was a steal for them. And I think Bryce Lance can potentially play himself into a very nice third receiver role, especially because of how fast he is going straight down the field. When you can create layers in an offense, I think it's going to really help out with your young quarterback. Grabbing Travis Etienne to be the lead running back, sort of, I guess, partnering with Alvin Kamara. I'm not sure what's happening there, which might be the only reason why I'm not giving them an A. But I do think this Saints offense and this offseason was about prioritizing Tyler Shuck, and I think they did that in a big way.
Yeah, the reason I went B minus, and I don't think it's a bad offseason by any means, I just thought they paid a lot for those free agents that they signed this offseason, whether it's Travis Etienne, David Edwards, or Caden Ellis. I just thought it was a little bit more than I would have paid for those guys at non-premium positions on this team. And then in the draft, after Jordan Tyson...
Oh, yeah, let me talk about the Saints. The Saints, like, post Drew Brees, this team has just been, like, they had the years with Jameis Winston and that failed. They did try some stuff with the Tyson guy or their dude quarterback, and I mean he's a good like as a quarterback, non-quarterback. If that makes any sense. Like the Saints, they have what's in that? Chris Olave is a good receiver for them, but like it's just like he don't really have a franchise quarterback to throw him the ball. Like they got Spencer Rattler, they got this guy that they have that they it's like when they drafted him, he's like in his late 20s, not late 20s, like in his mid 20s. I think he's like around same age as Jalen Hurts or whatever. Like they have all these players that's like all these quarterbacks that they had, and it's just like Saints, man. It's just like they need a franchise career. That's why I do think that they might, if they do tank this season, they're gonna get Arch Manning because they need a quarterback Like, and I don't get why they have them second in like betting. That's why betting is weird. But like, it's just yeah, the Saints. Like they do got some good players. I think they still have Cam Jordan. They did got rid of Demario Davis, but I forgot what they have as. I think they still have Kool-Aid McKinstry as in their secondary, and he's pretty all right. I don't know. I just say all right. I think he did have his struggles, but like Saints, they're still in a rebuild. Like I don't think they're gonna do very much this season. They will win some games, but it won't be enough to win a division. Like they still, they need somebody to revitalize this team post Drew Brees. But yeah, let's go on.
I just don't know how much of an impact you're getting from Kristen Miller, your second-round defensive tackle, much more of a run defender. So I thought the price tags for the guys they let walk, Demario Davis, Alante Taylor, by all means, let those guys pay at that number, play at that number somewhere else. So for that reason, I thought it was a shrewd offseason in their eyes. And I think the Saints, with their draft last year, should be considered right there with the Bucs as one of the favorites in this division.
All right, 2 teams down, 2 left to go, and I got to pay off the teams from earlier. The one and only A that we have in this segment comes from Mike Renner when it comes to the Carolina Panthers, an A- for the teams.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job in the draft. I thought they added a ton of talent through free agency. The only reason I went minus is because I didn't like that they went.
The Panthers, man. I mean, like the story with them is Bryce Young. He struggled in his first year. Now in his like second or third year, like he also struggled in his second year. In his third year, he won a division, and now they got like Kellyon McMillan, and now like they also got a pretty alright defense. And, I mean they played pretty well in that against the Rams in that playoff game. They lost, but they did pretty well. Like it was their first playoff game since like a long time, like 2018 or whatever. And like especially with a young team like this, they need a playoff experience like that. And I do think they might win a division again, knowing how weird the NFC South is. The Panthers got a chance to win it. And like I said, like the coach that they have guy's name, but like he is a quarterback whisperer. I think he coached Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield had his breakout season, and he coached somebody else too, and they also had their breakout season with him as as the coordinator. So, like, I won't say Bryce Young will make a major leap, but I do think he will improve this season. Like, he might be a top 15 quarterback. Like, if the Panthers have a good season this year.
Cade Mayswalk, the center who seemingly transformed their running game a year ago, but this team got so much better in the front seven. We kept talking about it all last season on the podcast. This front seven was a
Yeah, they also got Jalen Phillips too, which can be good for their defense.
That's not going to be the case anymore after they added Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd. Yeah, they had to pay a pretty penny for
Oh yeah,
those
Devin
guys,
Lloyd too. Dang,
but
they really did
there's no
upgrade their
questioning
defense,
that they are going to transform what
especially in the
this
linebacker edge position.
defense looks like next season. And then in the draft, I thought Monroe Freeling and Sam Hatch were two of my favorite picks for this team, in that this is long-term. These are two long-term building blocks for this offensive line. And then Lee Hunter is a underrated player, underrated addition in that I think he's NFL ready right now. Obviously, they needed all these additions to their front seven defensively, given how bad they were last year. This is yet another guy who I think makes an immediate impact for this team.
I gave them a B plus, and the only reason I didn't give them an A was because I wanted to see them add some more proven speed to that running back group, especially given that Rico Dowd is now out of the building. Jonathan Brooks is coming off another injury. Chuba Hubbard is a fine player, but I think they need to add some more explosiveness. But they did add that in grabbing Chris Bradford out of Tennessee, who I think makes the tallest wide receiver compared to the shortest quarterback in the NFL. I think that race is going to be very funny to watch. But I'm curious about this defense, especially like Mike said with Lee Hunter. With Lee Hunter, he's more of a nose tackle that should allow Derek Brown to move up and down the defensive line. He is their best, most impactful player, and I think they've done a really good job at refortifying the trenches. I know they lost Cade Mays, but I think Sam Heck is a guy who's going to come in and start day one for them. So I like what they did. I just wish they would have added a little bit more juice, a little bit more explosiveness to both sides of the ball.
All right, lastly, we've got the Atlanta Falcons. You guys so far, the team's fairly generous with your grades. With JP, the first C in this segment, the only C in this segment, goes to Atlanta and C+.
And honestly, the only reason they're getting a C+ is because they kept Jeff Ulbrich as their defensive coordinator. I think some of their additions this offseason have just been sort of...
But the Falcons, like, especially them against, when I watched them against the Eagles, man, they did pretty well against the Eagles. Like, I think the problem with the Falcons, well, one, they choke a lot. But, like, and they did pretty well against the Rams, too. Like, the Vikings, I mean, messed up my words, saying whole different teams. The Falcons, they do well, but there is moments where they just, like, they do fall apart. Like, it's just not even funny how much they fall apart, whether it's games or the season. And it's just like, because they had the NFC South, and then they choked it as usual, and it's just like I said, they got Brian Robinson, they got Drake London, and we don't know if they're gonna start Tua. We don't know if they're gonna have they still have faith in Penix. Like Penix did have some games where he was good, and like now they brought in Tua to be like competition to him, and it's just like, and Tua he has his issues too, his injuries, and it's just like him being a risk factor. Like I said, and not just Tua. This whole Falcons team is a risk factor. Like like any team non-injury that's like that might collapse will be the Falcons, minus injuries. Because like I said, the Falcons they always be having these hot streaks and then like they flame out, and yeah.
playing it right down the middle, especially for a team that needed a boost, especially a quarterback. I think Tua is going to be what Tua always has been, which I don't think is going to be a significant lift to this team. I think the defense still could have used some more size. I think they got ran over a little bit in the run game to finish off the season. And I'm curious about how they're going to get pass rush with the potential suspension of James Pierce Jr. coming up. I don't really know if I trust any of those guys outside of Jalen Walker. And losing Caden Ellis, I think, is going to be a big loss for them. So I just wonder if they did enough outside of their draft where they got Avion Terrell, Zachariah Grant to be a fun player on offense. I just wonder if they did enough to not only close that gap in the NFC South, but to assert themselves again at the top of the division.
TJP, why I disagree with you and why I went much higher here with the B grade is that they didn't do enough because they didn't have enough resources, right? They had to pay for what Terry Fontenot did trying to save his job last year when he traded away that future first-rounder for James Pierce and kind of pushed this team to the edge from a cap situation. So they had to reset. They couldn't re-sign all these guys, so they had to make some shrewd decisions and let guys walk, and I think they did really well at that. I don't think anyone they lost is truly a crucial player to this team, and I thought they made some really shrewd moves. I think Jawan Taylor bringing him in for only $5 million a year to play right tackle is a floor raiser for you there, even if he's not any great shakes at this point in his career. And then to get Tua for a vet minimum contract, a guy who is a starter in the NFL, say what you want about him not being a franchise quarterback, he's one of the 32 best. And if they had one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the NFL last year, they were probably a playoff team. So for all those reasons, I think the Falcons could have a quick bounce.
Well, I mean, they do. I mean, it depends. Like injuries and flameouts, especially with the Falcons.
And I thought they got a really good draft in their second rounder, Avion Terrell. I said the Bucs had the steal in the first round. I think he was the steal in the second round. So I thought a much better offseason, even if it doesn't show necessarily on paper with additions, it's what they had to do.
Those are a look at the NFC South offseason grades. We'll be pushing the pile through, guys. Great stuff. Don't go anywhere. Let's button up this segment with Week 1 games and the odds according to FanDuel, you're taking a look at all of the NFC South teams, and they're all going to be underdogs, and Carolina a home dog.
But if I had to conclude about the NFC South is, like I said, it is the Bucks had their years and they shouldn't have capitalized on those years. I think their best year was when they beat the Eagles or whatever a couple years ago. And then like after that, like it's just like it's been a roller coaster indeed. And I do think this will be the last legs for Todd Bowles. But the Panthers, they will probably win the division again. Like Bryce Young will grow, and it's really funny how Bryce Young is growing, and his successor, C.J. Stroud, is like deteriorating. But like, yeah, and I don't know why the Saints is getting all this hype. I do still believe that they're a rebuilding team. And who else is in the division? Like the Falcons, like they are their own worst enemy. That's all I gotta say about them. And yeah, this is your boy Man Event Primetime TV. I'm out. Peace.